Hello everyone, my name is West and this is PinoyBIX channel. If you are not my subscriber, please do consider subscribing and don't forget to click the bell button.
This is the multiple choice questions part 9 of the series in computer fundamentals as one of the electronics engineering topic. 401. Group of flip-flops used to store more bits. A. Register. B. ROM. C. PROM. D. All of these. Answer, A. Register. 402. Sequential access digital memory uses what storage circuit? A. Parallel register. B. Shift register. C. Dynamic RAM. D. EEPROM. Answer, B. Shift register. 403. Memory whose contents are lost when electrical power is removed. A. Non-volatile. B. Temporary. C. Dynamic. D. Volatile. Answer, D. Volatile. 404. One of the following can program PROMs. A. Biasing bipolar transistor. B. Blowing fuse. C. Effusing input. D. Charging a gate. Answer, B. Blowing fuse. 405. Type of memory wherein the data are permanently stored. Usually the storing of data is done during manufacturing of the component. A. ROM. B. PROM. C. EPROM. D. EEPROM. Answer, A. ROM. 406. A semiconductor memory device in which data can be stored after fabrications. A. PROM. B. EPROM. C. EEPROM. D. All of these. Answer, D. All of these. 407. A type of ROM that allows data to be written into the device by a programmer. After it has been programmed, it cannot be reprogrammed again. A. PROM. B. EPROM. C. EEPROM. D. A and B above. Answer, A. PROM. 408. What memory device that can be programmed and reprogrammed after the old programs are erased, usually by an ultraviolet light? A. EEPROM. B. EPROM. C. RPROM. D. B and C. Answer, D. B and C. 409. A variation of PROM, wherein its stored data can be erased by electrical signal instead of ultraviolet light. A. EEPROM. B. Dynamic ROM. C. RAM. D. EEPROM and dynamic RAM. Answer, A. EEPROM. 410. A non-volatile memory. A. ROM. B. PROM and RPROM. C. EPROM and EEPROM. D. All are correct. Answer, D. All are correct. 411. What is the time interval to undertake a refresh operation in a typical dynamic RAM? A. 2 milliseconds. B. 200 milliseconds. C. 50 microseconds. D. 22 microseconds. Answer, A. 2 milliseconds. 412. Semiconductor-based, volatile data storage device that can be written and read randomly. A. RAM. B. PROM. C. EPROM. D. EEPROM. Answer, A. RAM. 413. Random access memory that needs recharging of capacitors. A. SRAM. B. DRAM. C. Dynamic storage. D. A and B. Answer, B. DRAM. 414. Dynamic RAM, DRAM, uses capacitor as its data storage element, while static RAM, SRAM, uses what? A. Inductor. B. Magnet. C. Register. D. Flip-flop. Answer, D. Flip-flop. 415. Type of memory that is formed by a series of magnetic bubbles at the substrate. A. Magnetic disk. B. Bubble sort. C. Bubble chart. D. Bubble memory. Answer, D. Bubble memory. 416. Non-semiconductor digital memory device. A. Magnetic core. B. Magnetic domain. C. Saturable core. D. Ferromagnetic domain. Answer, A. Magnetic core. 417. A hardware used to program a prompt. A. Microcomputer. B. Data loader. C. Encoder. D. PROM programmer. Answer, D. PROM programmer. 418. Computer hardware device constructed to perform shifting of its contained data. A. Parallel register. B. Serial to parallel register. C. Shift register. D. ALU. Answer, C. Shift register. 419. Register wherein data can be serially inputted, while the output can be retrieved in parallel manner. A. Serial to parallel register. B. Parallel storage. C. Parallel to serial register. D. Serial register. Answer, A. Serial to parallel register. 420. Digital device similar to that of a ROM and whose internal connections of logic arrays can be programmed by passing high current through fusible links. A. PLA. B. PAL. C. APL. D. A and B. Answer, D. A and B. 421. What is the difference between a read-only memory, ROM, and a programmable logic array, PLA? A. All input combinations of a ROM produce an output, while in a PLA, some input combinations do not affect the output. B. Only the OR functions in a ROM are programmable, whereas in a PLA, both OR and AND functions are programmable. C. In ROM, all the possible states must be programmed, while not all for a PLA. D. All of these. Answer, D. All of these. 422. The difference between a programmable logic array, PLA, and a programmable array logic, PAL, is that A. With PLA, only OR gates are programmable, whereas both OR and AND gates are programmable in PAL. B. With PLA, both OR and AND gates are programmable, while in PAL only OR gate is programmable. C. With PLA, both OR and AND gates are programmable, while in PAL, only AND gate is programmable. D. Only AND gate is programmable with PLA, whereas both OR and AND gates are programmable for PAL. Answer, C. With PLA, both OR and AND gates are programmable, while in PAL, only AND gate is programmable. 423. A circuit used for selecting a single output from multiple inputs. A. Universal logic module, ULM. B. Demultiplexer. C. Tri-state. D. Logic array. Answer, A. Universal logic module, ULM. 424. Another name for universal logic module, ULM. A. Multiplexer. B. Decoder. C. Coder. D. Shift register. Answer, a multiplexer. 425. A device/circuit used to separate two or more signals from one line. A. Decoder. B. Demodulation. C. Demodifier. D. Demultiplexer. Answer, D. Demultiplexer. 426. An electronic counter in which bit-able units are cascaded to form a loop. A. Ring counter. B. Twisted ring counter. C. Up/down counter. D. Bit-able counter. Answer, a ring counter. 427. What is formed when the complemented output of the last stage of a shift register is fed back to the input of the first stage? A. Ring counter. B. Twisted ring counter. C. Decade counter. D. Up/down counter. Answer, B. Twisted ring counter. 428. A digital circuit that produces logic 1 output pulse for every 10 input pulses. A. Decade scaler. B. Divider. C. Chopper. D. Multiplexer. Answer, a decade scaler. 429. Binary codes are converted into ASCII by what circuit? A. Decoder. B. Demultiplexer. C. Degenerator. D. Code converter. Answer, D. Code converter. 430. The technical term used when signals are converted from analog to digital. A. Digitize. B. Quantize. C. Coded. D. All of these. Answer, A. Digitize. 431. Blank is a sequence of instructions that tells the computer machine on how available data shall be processed. A. Program. B. RAM. C. Command. D. Flowchart. Answer, A. Program. 432. Diagram showing procedures that are followed, and actions taken is called A. Functional block diagram. B. Circuit diagram. C. Flowchart. D. Schematic diagram. Answer, C. Flowchart. 433. What is the medium of communication with the computer where programs are written in mnemonics? A. Assembly language. B. High-level language. C. Machine language. D. Low-level language. Answer, C. Machine language. 434. A blank a program which converts instruction written in a source language into machine code, which can be read and acted upon by the computer. A. Source code. B. Assembler. C. Application software. D. Compiler. Answer, B. Assembler. 435. A detailed step-by-step set of direction telling a computer exactly how to proceed to solve a specific problem or process a specific task. A. Sequence. B. Flowchart. C. Computer program. D. Process. Answer, C. Computer program. 436. What is a program that translated English-like word of high-level language into the machine language of a computer? A. Compiler. B. Assembler. C. Monitor program. D. Interpreter. Answer, A. Compiler. 437. Blank is a software that converts a high-level language program into machine or assembly language program. A. ALU. B. Cross assembler. C. Compiler. D. CPU. Answer, C. Compiler. 438. The purpose of the fetch cycle in a computer is to blank. A. Obtain instruction. B. Obtain input data. C. Obtain memory data. D. Implement a specific operation. Answer, A. Obtain instruction. 439. Blank refers to a program that translates and then immediately executes statements in a high-level language. A. Interpreter. B. Synchronous. C. Interface. D. Operating system. Answer, A. Interpreter. 440. A blank is an instruction in a source language that is to be replaced by a defined sequence of instructions in the same source language. A. Statement. B. Source code. C. Mnemonic. D. Macro instruction. Answer, D. Macro instruction. 441. A very high-dense and probably the most versatile integrated circuit used in digital electronics. It is known to function as the central processing unit of most computer applications. A. Microcomputer. B. Micro-integrated. C. Macro-integrated. D. Microprocessor. Answer, D. Microprocessor. 442. The smallest computer in terms of physical size. A. Microcomputer. B. Mini-computer. C. Mainframe. D. Host computer. Answer, A. Microcomputer. 443. A logic/digital circuit that generates an output code for every input signal. A. Enhancer. B. Compressor. C. Encoder. D. Decoder. Answer, C. Encoder. 444. What code that gives each digit of a decimal number with a corresponding binary equivalent? A. Binary code. B. Gray code. C. ASCII. D. Binary coded decimal. Answer, D. Binary coded decimal. 445. Which of the code below is considered as minimum change code? A. Gray code. B. ASCII. C. BCD. D. ARINC. Answer, A. Gray code. 446. A 7-bit alphanumeric code that is widely used. A. Gray code. B. ASCII. C. BCD. D. ARINC. Answer, B. ASCII. 447. The opcode of a computer instruction. A. Mnemonic. B. Bionic. C. Operand. D. Program. Answer, A. Mnemonic. 448. An instruction that causes the program to go another task. A. Flip. B. Sub. C. Jump. D. Move. Answer, C. Jump. 449. An instruction that can move data from memory to the accumulator. A. Fetch. B. Move. C. ACC. D. Load. Answer, D. Load. 450. An instruction that moves data from accumulator to the memory. A. Fetch. B. Move. C. Store. D. Load. Answer, C. Store.
Sa mga hindi pa nakapag-subscribe, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click the bell button. See you on my next video.